Hello and welcome to English lectures by Usman Hanif. Please subscribe the channel and press the bell icon before we move on. So let's start the most important idioms. First of all, I will define what an idiom is. Idiom is a figure of speech used to mean something other than its literal meaning, which means we don't use idiom as dictionary meanings, but we use it as metaphorical meanings, something other than literal meanings. So let's move on to the first idiom, caught red-handed. For example, a person has just committed some crime. He has just killed somebody, and because of the process of the killing, some of the blood has spilled out and has spread over his hands. So police arrives, somebody else arrives on the scene, and the culprit is seen that his hands are red. Okay, so caught red-handed is it means that somebody is doing the crime and he is caught while he has not wiped his hands yet, right? Next idiom is apple of someone's eyes. Now see the black spot inside the eye, the round ball of the eye, its shape is like that of an apple. So if you if you prick that particular spot of the eye with something, it hurts a lot. So if someone is apple of my eyes, if you hurt him, it is as if you hurt my apple of eyes. So head over heels, when you are in love with someone so much that you are just tripping off, upside down. So head over heels literally means when you are just jumping, you are at the cloud nine, as it is used in another idiom, at cloud nine. So head over heels means when you're extremely jubilant, ecstatic and extremely happy. To bury the hatchet. In the old days, about four centuries ago, whenever two tribes stopped fighting with each other, they would bury the hatchet. Hatchet is a weapon, a tool used in agriculture. But they would fight with this tool. But once they stopped fighting, they would bury as a symbol of peace and calm. Spill the beans. In the time gone by, in elections, the beans were used, as a means for voting. So once the voting time was over, the bucket would be, turned upside down, and the beans would spill out. In this way, they would count the beans. Okay, so the secret ballot would be disclosed. Spill the beans means to disclose the secret. Let's move on. Lead by nose is the next idiom. We know that when a horse is tied with the cart, its nose is tied with a rope. So lead by nose means when you enslave somebody, when you control somebody by holding it through its nose by tying it to the line or a rope. So same used to be done with the women in the old days, that their nose pins would stand as symbol of slavery. They would be led by nose. Let sleeping dogs lie. If you are passing through a street and you have seen a dog lying deeply in sleep, and you should not be disturbing it lest it should bite you or bark at you. Okay, so when the troublemaking person is sleeping, don't just disturb him. Let it go. Just a leap in the dark. When things are very much clear, only then you should take a decision. When you're driving the car, if the road is very much clear, if it is not foggy, only then you should be driving the car. Otherwise, you should discontinue your journey. Live from hand to mouth. You have earned something, you have just got it in your hand. The wage, the salary has been just given to you, and you have purchased something and you have eaten it, and the money is spent. So live from hand to mouth is whatever you earn in your hand, you let it go into your mouth. To bite the dust. In the old days, the kings would dehumanize their subjects, their people, by making them to bite the dust, come to their that palace by biting the dust of the floor. So in this way they would humiliate the people. The next idiom is flying off one's handle. So if you are using any tool and its handle is broken or removed from that particular tool, that is flying off one's handle. And in the same way, if your brain is not working, if you have failed to keep using your brain, then you have flown off your handle. Flog a dead horse. If a horse has died, no matter how much flogging you give to it, it is not going to wake up. So a person, a stone-hearted person cannot move. You cannot move his feelings by recitations, by preachings. So a person who is not going to listen to you, you can't make him listen. Piece of cake is something you really like. Everybody likes soft cakes. They're easy to eat. They're lovely. They're tasty. So if something is very very easy, you will say it's a piece of cake for me. Once in a blue moon, the month when you have two full moons, that is called once in a blue moon. So only in a whole 1 year, once in a month does once in a year does this occasion arrive, when we have a full moon twice in a single month, which means when something happens very rarely. Let's move on. In short, briefly speaking, or to make a long story short, or to put into a nutshell, I have written these four idioms together because they have same meanings. Okay. In short, briefly speaking, to make a long story short, to put into a nutshell, all these idioms carry same meanings. Means when you shorten your conversation, when you reduce or compress your conversation. Next idiom is to kick the bucket, to pass away, to meet one's maker, could not keep body and soul together, breathe one's last. All these idioms mean one and the same thing, to die. So about to kick the bucket, I would like to just give you etymology of the idiom. In the old days, when people would be executed, they would be made to stand on the on the bucket turned upside down, and then they would be hanged, and the bucket would be kicked and it would move away, and the person would be hanged in the air, right? And in the same way, the birds would be hung, and the bird would die, and they would keep a bucket under it so that they would let the blood spill into that bucket. So I hope these idioms are clear to you. Wait for next video for more idioms. Please subscribe the channel and press the bell icon. See you in the next video. Take care.